Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Psychically Speaking. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. This is the podcast where intuition meets inspiration, and I'm your host, Lisa Ann. Together, we'll explore, learn, and grow through meaningful moments and fresh perspectives. Today, we're going to tackle a subject that I know so many of you struggle with. Here's a little secret. I struggle with it too. It's called trusting the process. What do you do when you're losing faith in accomplishing your goal? How do you stay motivated when things seem to be at a standstill? And here's a big one. What do you do when other people seem to be blocking you? If you've been feeling stuck, frustrated, or just plain tired of waiting for things to fall into place, then this episode's for you. So grab a cup of tea, take a deep breath, and let's talk about it. So let's start by talking about when you're losing faith in your goal. First things first, let's be real. Losing faith in your goal is not a sign of weakness. It's simply a sign that you're human. The road to anything worthwhile is rarely a straight line. It's more like a windy, bumpy, sometimes completely unmarked path that makes you question whether you should turn back. Or as I sometimes find in my life, it's like driving off a cliff. But let's get one thing straight. Just because you can't always see the finish line doesn't mean it's not there. So here's what I want you to do if you're feeling that doubt creeping in. First, pause and reflect. Instead of allowing yourself to spiral into that frustration, which is very easy to do sometimes, take a moment to revisit why you started in the first place. What made you excited about this goal? Reconnect with that spark. Next, acknowledge the process that you've already made. We have a bad habit of only celebrating the big milestones, but every little step counts. I guarantee you that when you do that, you'll find out you're a lot further along than you even realize. Next, release the pressure of timing. I know this is easier said than done, and in fact, this is one I struggle with myself a lot. But sometimes we strangle our own dreams by demanding that they unfold on our schedule. Trust that things are aligning in ways that you can't see yet. So next, let's tackle how to stay motivated when things just feel stagnant. Motivation isn't something we just wake up with every day. It's something we cultivate. If you're feeling stuck, try shifting your focus. Begin by reframing the challenge. What if this delay is actually setting you up for something even better? Sometimes a no is really a not yet, because something greater is on its way. I remember years ago when I was getting ready to purchase my first home. It was right next to my parents, and I was so excited to be able to buy the home next to their house. I was also quite pregnant with my first child. And we were in the middle of having the house inspected when the homeowner called me at my mom's house to tell me that she decided the house was worth more and she wanted to raise the price $30,000. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole long story, but clearly we ended up not buying the house. I was devastated. And I remember my grandmother telling me, everything always happens for a reason. And boy, did I hate hearing that. A year later, after my son was born, he had gotten sick. And while we were dealing with that, the neighbor the new person who had went ahead and bought the house and paid the extra $30,000, the septic and the well went bad at the same time. And I remember when I heard the news, I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, if we were in that house at this moment while I was dealing with my son being sick and the money's due on the house, I don't know what I would have done. And I remember thinking in that moment, thank God I did not get that house. So sometimes there's a reason why things don't happen, and sometimes there's a reason why there's a delay. And this is really where we have to trust the process. Next, create a daily ritual for motivation. Whether it's journaling, meditation, pulling a card for guidance, or just listening to an inspiring podcast, like hopefully you find this one. Find something that keeps your energy aligned and keeps you in that higher vibration. Because it's only when you are in that higher vibration that you can manifest and create. Finally, remember to take small, inspired actions. Stagnation breeds more stagnation. And I know sometimes it's very easy to get frustrated, throw your hands up in the air and go, that's it, I'm pulling the covers over my head and I'm staying in bed all day. But I want you to remember that even if it's a tiny step, movement creates momentum. So ask yourself, what's one small thing that you could do today that will bring you closer to your goal? Finally, let's discuss something that people ask me about all the time. And that's, what do we do when others are blocking us? The external roadblocks. People who doubt you, who challenge you, or honestly, who straight up try to block your process. This can be one of the hardest parts of the journey. So let's talk about how to navigate this. 1, identify the real block. Is it actually interference, or is it just their negativity getting into your head? Sometimes what feels like an external block is really our own fears being mirrored back to us. I discuss this with clients all the time. When someone says something negative to me that's not in alignment with the goal that I am focusing on, if I get really upset about it, I have to take a step back, and I use that as what I like to call my checks and balances. Because normally, if it's something that's upsetting me, it's a signal to me that there's something still not sitting right within me. So instead of getting upset with that person that I feel like is blocking, I take that step back and I go, okay, what do I need to focus on? And it may be something as simple as a fear that I need to release. Next, set energetic and physical boundaries. Remember, not everyone needs to know your plans. I know we live in a world of social media where we post what we're eating, when we went to the bathroom, how many phone calls we got, but sometimes it's more important to protect your dreams from people who do not support them. Next, transmute the energy. If someone is bringing negativity in your space, visualize yourself surrounded by a beautiful golden light, deflecting their energy like water off a duck's back. Or if you're like me, sometimes you just need to laugh it off and keep moving. Finally, remember, no one can block what is meant for you. Period. End of discussion. If someone is standing in your way, trust that the universe will either move them or move you around them. Your path is yours. So remember, trusting the process isn't always easy, but it's necessary. The things you're working towards are happening in divine timing, even if you can't see it yet. Keep going, keep believing, and most importantly, keep trusting. Thank you for joining me today on Psychically Speaking. If you loved this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration. And remember to join me for my free live weekly happy hour with guided meditation via Zoom. For more information, visit spiritquestnc.com. Until next time, take care of yourself, embrace your light, trust your intuition, and keep growing. Thank you for joining me today on Psychically Speaking. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration. And remember to join me for my free live weekly happy hour with guided meditation via Zoom. For more information, visit spiritquestnc.com. Until next time, take care of yourself, embrace your light, trust your intuition, and keep growing.